Back to Arizona Daily Mix and today's Health Matters. She is seen on The Doctors that you can catch right here on AZTV7 at 3 o'clock. And it's my favorite person to talk to. It's Dr. Judy. How are you?
It's always so good to be with you.
So it is. You know what? I love talking to you because you are helping me relax more with everything going on, especially with relationships, children's and stuff, which a lot of people are having anxiety about. And so lately on the podcast, you've been helping people get through, especially the relationship, social distancing kind of situation that we're going into.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happens not only with our intimate relationships, like with a romantic partner, but it's happening with friends too, because everybody has a totally different view of what's safe and what's not. So some people are ready to just go balls out. They want to go party. They're ready to go to all the restaurants and everything that's open. And there's other people who still have so much anxiety. I don't know if it's still safe for me to go out. And I have all this pressure from my family and my friends, and I have to go socialize at some point. And so I think it's definitely causing people not to be honest with each other. I see a lot of people making excuses. Oh, I have too much going on this weekend. I can't go out. They just keep pushing that date out. And, meanwhile, their friends are like, when are we going to hang out?
Yeah, and I think what we're starting to see too is like how you and I are Zooming right now, and we're going through this kind of Zoom relationships with people. So when it is now like, hey, let's go meet, they are kind of like having anxiety getting away from the screen to actually being in front of people. How do people handle that?
I know. I feel like it's a big transition. And if you think about especially the children and teenagers who are growing up right now, and in this moment, they spent so much time on screen hanging out with their friends. So it affects our younger generation too. But certainly, I know that I have been pretty much social distancing this entire time. And whenever I do see people in person, it's like a big jolt. Like it feels very different. And that's because the virtual platform and how we communicate is very different from in-person platform. In person, you get a lot more access to nonverbals just by sitting next to them. You don't have to keep the conversation going necessarily. Well, when you're on a virtual platform, it feels like a performance. You're constantly having to keep the conversation going, and you feel like you're being scrutinized. Every little thing. I don't know if you've noticed that a lot of people, they're on these group meetings and somebody starts to eat a cracker, and it's like everybody notices that person eating the cracker. But when you're in an in-person meeting, you don't really think about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about how we handle this, because it's very interesting. You said where people are starting to get in front of other people, but I've noticed some of my friends who are kind of like the opposite now, where that person who was an introvert is kind of like now like up in my face. I'm like, whoa, back off a little bit. And I've started to become the person who's like becoming a little introvert. How is that happening and why?
I'm like you right now. I feel like I'm an extrovert, but then people just come at me and I'm like, like I want to go back into my little shell right now, because like you said, socialization is different when you're going back out there after months of not really doing this. So I think one tip is to give yourself the time to do it gradually. Everybody's got their own comfortable pace and it's okay. And you might start with just a social distancing walk with somebody outdoors and, have your mask on and you can keep your 6-foot distance, and then work your way up to perhaps visiting in a restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that. But it doesn't have to all happen at once. I also think that it's important to communicate what you need and want from people. And so if they're coming at you too hard, I think if they're a friend, if they're a colleague, you can say, hey, let's just back up and have a little bit of space. Like it would make me feel more comfortable in our conversation. I think it's totally okay for us to talk about that, but sometimes we feel awkward. Like, I don't want to say that and hurt somebody's feelings. But I think people feel better if they know that you try to communicate with them what it is that you want, rather than find out 2 weeks later that you made them uncomfortable the whole time. And this is why you've been avoiding them for the last 14 days.
Oh my gosh. Dr. Judy, I want you to come in when we are able to, because I love to see you in person here on our show. You open door to it so we can talk not this way. Also, I love the podcast, so please tell everybody right now where they can catch the podcast.
My podcast, Supercharged Life with Dr. Judy, is available on all podcasting platforms, and I interview some amazing guests and teach you how to improve your life every single day and make every day a supercharged day. So definitely come and join us there.
Well, my day is definitely supercharged. The weekend's going to be awesome because I got to talk with Dr. Judy. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you so much, Brad.